Hi, welcome back to Herbal Bunny's Pharmacy. My name is Dr. Tamitha Davis. Today we're going to continue our series in autoimmune disease. But before we begin, hit the subscribe button if you're interested in healing your body naturally and gardening tips. In my previous video, which I will link down in the description box, I have talked about some of the things that you could do to get started on your autoimmune healing journey, which was getting your food sensitivity, allergy testing done, and to eliminate the 5 foods that we should not be eating, which is sugar, wheat, corn, dairy, and eggs. This video I want to talk about some of the other things that we can be doing and kind of give you an explanation on the path of autoimmune disease and how it kind of comes about. I've had lots of people come up to me and say that they have X, Y, and Z autoimmune disease and they would just like some herbal remedy to help them with that. And I wish it was that simple. Even those come to me and it's like, hey, I have high blood pressure. What herb can I take? Hey, I have diabetes. What herb can I take? Hey, I need to sleep more. What herb can I take? Again, I wish it was that simple. However, it is not. Our bodies are very complex and we have this big system in our body and it all kind of goes together. So when we have one thing that's going on in our body, which is the main thing I'm going to get ready to talk about here, then it can wreak havoc on our whole entire body and cause a plethora of symptoms, because all diseases are symptoms of an underlying cause. And the underlying cause is poor eating and poor digestion. All sickness and disease, even those that are genetic, that are turned on, are all rooted in the core of our body, our digestive system. What continuously goes in here affects what goes on out here. Science has come a long way with providing medications that help with different illnesses, and science has come out with different treatment options for different various diseases. However, there's actually more diseases now than there was 50 years ago. Why is that? Well, because we're eating poorer now than we did 50 years ago. So that's the cause of diseases. Things that go in here affects what goes on out here. So how do you fix that, you may be asking? Well, it's obvious. You've got to change what you're eating. So I like to refer to going back to nature. What is nature doing that we are not doing? If we go outside, what do we see most of? Green things. That should be the bulk of our diet. Green things. And then we want to take a look at what is in season. What is growing this time of the year? What is growing in the wintertime? What can we do to eat food in the wintertime? So just kind of looking at nature, getting back to nature. So even in the wintertime where I live, there's still greens everywhere. Kale still grows pretty good. And we have root vegetables that we can eat throughout the wintertime. We can store up different varieties of grains and beans to help sustain us, and tubers throughout the winter months to help us until we get into the fall time where everything starts to grow, and that's when we need to be getting all of our nutrients. When we're coming out of winter months and into the spring, we have lots of more green leafy things growing. It's producing or growing stuff for the summertime, our fruits and other veggies. But we need to replace all the vitamins and minerals that we have lost throughout the winter months, because some areas, I do realize that there's not a whole lot of green stuff because you got like 10 feet of snow outside. And hopefully you were saving up your beans and your rices and grains and stuff and eating those throughout the winter months. Kind of like how the animals do. They kind of store food and then they eat that. Like squirrels are always digging up nuts around here, and like the bears and stuff, you know, they kind of just fatten themselves up and then they just go into hibernation until, you know, springtime comes. And then they come out and they eat a lot of leafy greens before they start chasing down rabbits and start eating the meat. Well, we need to take a lesson from what the animals are doing in nature, and that's what we need to be following. You following along? So just kind of give you a brief rundown. So springtime, lots of greens, lots and lots and lots of greens, mostly greens. Then our summertime, we're still eating greens, but we're also eating fruits and vegetables, all those that grow on the outside of the plant. Everything that's tubers, carrots, potatoes, beets, things like that, we harvest those for fall and winter months. Our beans, we harvest those. They're able to be shelf stable. We can dry them out and keep them for the winter months. We eat that during the winter time. Then spring comes back around. Mostly leafy greens. Summertime, fruits and vegetables, stuff that's on the outside of the plant. And then the root vegetables, beans, stuff in the fall time. That's what it's supposed to be like in a perfect world. We're supposed to eat in that cycle. We're not supposed to be eating things out of season and not supposed to be eating things that's not within our region. So if you don't live in the tropics, technically we're not supposed to be eating foods that are grown in the tropics. But I love eating bananas. I love eating oranges. They do not grow around here. However, we have this wonderful ability to ship things, and I do like to eat those things. And there's nothing really wrong with that, just as long as you're predominantly eating foods that are in your season, because those fruits and vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, whatever, is going to help you with the vitamins and minerals that you need for that climate. For those of you who are meat eaters, just keep in mind that our diet should predominantly be mostly a plant-based diet because that's what grows abundantly. However, you can eat meat, obviously, but you want to make sure you're eating it at the right times. You don't want to be going out and injecting your cows and your chickens with all kinds of growth hormones to make them grow faster so that way you can eat them faster. You're supposed to be eating according to seasons. You don't want to be eating a cow who's lactating because it has those hormones in its body, and it will pass those hormones off in its meat, which you consume, and it jacks with your own hormones. Where I grew up in West Virginia, they had doe season, they had buck season. They had these things for a reason, because you don't want to be out shooting Bambi, that's a female, and she's pregnant, or she's getting ready to have a baby, or she's what they call it, wanting to mate. What do they call that? Fertility? Or I can't even think right now. And the same way with the males. You don't want to be going out and slaughtering male Bambis when they are getting ready to mate with a female, because his hormones are all over the place and his meat will definitely be ruined. Wild caught is obviously a whole lot better than anything that's farm raised, due to the fact that most farmers are injecting their animals because there are a whole bunch of them in a tight spot. They can get sick easily, so they keep them jacked up with antibiotics, plus they give them growth hormones to make them grow faster so that we can eat them faster. Now, if your body is in a sick state with an autoimmune disease or hypertension, diabetes, anything that you have, this really cancer, anything that is ailing you, and you jump into healthy eating, you're going to have crazy symptoms. You may have some, especially because when we're not eating right, it really messes with our digestive system. Okay, we don't have the right hydrochloric acid, we don't have the right enzymes, and then we just start piling all that stuff in. It can cause some digestive issues. We can get diarrhea, we can get nausea, we could break out in hives because our body is all of a sudden just starting to cleanse itself. So we want to kind of do that slowly. I posted a video on autoimmune smoothie that has mostly leafy greens in it, and it has like one banana, a cup of berries, and it had a little bit of almond milk, and it had avocado, some healthy fats, some either flaxseed or chia seeds, some omega-3 fatty acids. And you want something that's going to be easy to digest, also provide you with enough of the digestive enzymes, probiotics, prebiotics that you need in order to rebuild your gut. So by doing these green smoothies, that is going to help you to rebalance your body. And by eliminating those foods that can trigger an immune response, if you have your tests done for food sensitivity, that is going to greatly improve your digestive system, because your body is not constantly have an immune response, and then your body's finally getting nutrients that it needs. That with these easily digestible foods, your body is going to heal quicker, and you're not going to have a whole lot of crazy symptoms. Don't mean that you won't have crazy symptoms, but they'd probably be less severe. keeping yourself hydrated is very key. Now, if you are eating a meal, you want to make sure that you're not drinking anything because it's going to dilute your stomach acid. And if you've already got low stomach acid, you want to definitely make sure you're not drinking anything 15 to 20 minutes before your meal or with your meal, so that way your digestive enzymes and your gastric juices can break down the food that's in there and it's not watered down. Taking a shot of apple cider vinegar 15-20 minutes before a meal can greatly improve your stomach acid. However, if you have any ulcers, you may not want to do that. You may want to weaken it down a little bit with some water, or not take as much, maybe just like a quarter of a teaspoon, and kind of build yourself up, because that will light you up and you will have heartburn from Hades. So depending on how sick you are, what you're trying to heal yourself from, we are talking about autoimmune diseases here. And again, those ones can be various debilitating, different degrees of them. So it just depends on how sick you are, and you can judge that by your body on how long you want to do these green smoothies. Typically, whenever I was doing them, it was anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. And I would continue to do them while I added in some other foods, but we'll talk about that one in another video, because right now we're just focusing on those first few weeks of getting that nutrition in there and to rebuild your stomach acid. I like taking probiotics. I get a really high, really good quality refrigerated probiotic. Yogurt has a lot of sugar and we don't want to do a whole lot of yogurt. I do kimchi, but I also take a capsule of a probiotic that I get from the health food store. I take 3 of those before I go to bed, so that way it actually has time to work and it gets into our body, and they can multiply by eating off the food that you ate throughout the day. Again, you'll have to kind of monitor and just listen to your body, because you can take too many and it can give you the runs, and that can cause some digestive upsets. So just monitor your body, listen to your body, and you may need to cut back on a probiotic, maybe start off with just 1. And if you're finding that the green smoothie is too much, then maybe add a little bit less greens, maybe add an extra cup of fruit and just a little bit less. But the greens is what's really going to help give you all the vitamins and minerals, staying hydrated. I was going to talk about staying hydrated. Fruits and vegetables will give you all the vitamins and minerals that you need to help you get hydrated, because most fruits and vegetables are mostly water. However, most of us are already depleted and dehydrated in water, so we can replace it by drinking plenty of water throughout the day, especially if you're exercising. But the key is making sure your liquid has electrolytes with it. I don't recommend any electrolyte powders. I've tried those before and they can cause like kidney stones, especially if you're prone to those. So you really want to just monitor that. So by just drinking like a green juice, if you have a really good juicer, you can juice your greens. Celery is awesome, cucumbers, kales, cilantro. You want to be careful with spinach, because spinach can also cause you to have kidney stones if you do too much, especially if you're prone to that. I like to juice carrots and beets, ginger. I add ginger to my green smoothies. I also like to add a little bit of lemon to my water. That helps to give a little bit of electrolytes, maybe just a little pinch of some Celtic sea salt. It adds a little bit of minerals to it. So I know your diet is going to really suck for those 4 to 6 weeks, but this is when your body is really healing, it's rebuilding, and that's very important for any sickness or disease that you have. And I want to emphasize how detrimental sugar is on your body. Sugar feeds all kinds of sickness and disease, basically almost every single sickness and disease that you have. It feeds yeast, it feeds fungus, it feeds bacteria, it feeds viruses. So really focus on getting the sugar out of your diet and sticking with the smoothie. And again, I will post a link to the smoothie. You can kind of alter things around a little bit. With the cup of berries, I use blueberries in that video. You can use strawberries, raspberries, blackberries. I added a banana to it. You don't have to do the banana, especially if you have any candida issues. you want to leave out the banana because again, it does have a lot of sugar in it. You can maybe trade it for like half of an apple or some other fruit that you like a pear or half of a peach. If banana's not your thing, but I like bananas, and I try not to do a whole lot of them. Sometimes I would just leave the banana out. But again, listen to your body and monitor that. Maybe you can just do 2 cups of fruit instead of the banana in it. But making sure you have your omega-3 fatty acids. In the video, I use flaxseed, but you can use hemp seeds, chia seeds, sesame seeds. There's sunflower seeds. You can use those, and that would also give you a good amount of vitamins and minerals and omega-3 fatty acids. I am going to hopefully record some of my green juice smoothies in the next week or so that way it kind of gives you guys a little bit more ideas. I may just do like a whole bunch of them, like maybe 5 or 6, and you can just kind of refer back to them. But the first one I did a few days ago, that's just kind of give you an idea of what it should look like. All right, you guys, the video's long enough. I hope that you guys got some good information from it. Go ahead, subscribe to Herbal Bunny's Pharmacy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, and check out my website, herbalbunnyspharmacy.com. I posted the link down below, and I probably flashed it on the screen.